Okay, so this is the home screen. But in order to access my company, I have to go to a VDI that I log into. I have already logged into it, so all I have to do is press this, and now I'm in the company's how would you call it? I'm basically able to access certain programs because I'm in the company system when I log into the VDI. So now I have Synergy right here. I have Exact Globe. And these, when I click on it, I'm automatically signed in. When you make the standalone bot, I do not need the bot to log me in. I'll do that manually myself. Um, but the first steps that I do when I start working is I go to my Excel sheet right here. This is the Excel sheet. And what I have to do is if when I begin, I look at the person's name, Jaramillo, uh, and that I will search into Synergy. So I'll take his name, his last name is Jaramillo. I'll go into Synergy here. Let me bring him up. I'll type in his name under employees. Jaramillo. Click him. I go to planning and then I get his calendar. So on my Excel spreadsheet that I'm on now, I'm working on the month of July. So this job, and now I'll explain further. So this job is on July 21st. Okay. I'm going to delete this for a second because right now we don't have that information. So all we have is his name and his date. So we would go on to Synergy. Nope, sorry, that's not Synergy. Synergy. We would go to July 21st. There's nothing here, so it's most likely July 22nd. And the reason I know that this was a job was because it's light blue. So I'm only clicking on the light blue ones. That's how I know. So this was a job, this was a job, and this was a job. New jobs, that is. So this, just make sure. Oops, sorry, this is the wrong one. That was for June. We're going to July. So July is here. And it's the project code is 469336. And that's the project code. That's the number we're going to put into the Excel spreadsheet. So 469336. And then we would put in the job name. So the job name is always above the project code, and that's Broadridge. Okay, so it's Broadridge. I already have this inputted, but just to show you, I'll do it over again. So with this project code, we now know what to look for on Expensify. So that's why the first thing we would have to do with the bot is for it to scrape information from Synergy so that we can use on Expensify. And Expensify, I'm going to bring that up here. Again, I'm going to log into it before I use the bot, so it doesn't need to log in for me. And let me just show you Expensify. Bring that over here. This is Expensify. So I search in people through their emails. It always has to be lowercase, so we're using Jaramillo. Jaramillo here. And then we have to find the project. Now, luckily with him, he puts the project code in the title of each one. A lot of the times they might not put the project code in, or they'll put a different code in. So that's one of the questions that I have is, can the bot figure out which one is associated with the project code on the Excel sheet? So here it is, this one. I already approved it, but normally it wouldn't be approved. So here you go, click on it. And here we have all the expenses for this one job. So we would then match the prices of each expense that he had. We would match it, and now I'll show you. So I'm gonna here. Ooh. It's hard to do on one screen, but I'm gonna show you and split the screen so you can see. Okay, so what we do is, so I'm going to copy this. Let's just delete all of this for a second. I have to delete it one by one. Delete, 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 delete. Okay, so essentially we would copy the project code and the job name. We would copy it, and then we would look the statements over here and basically copy and paste the project code to each number on the spreadsheet. So 45 matches with this. Okay, we found that. 473. See here. We'll move on. 4041. I see here. 102 is right here. $69.80. I do not see. 1744. I don't see. 2691. I see here. But it says 35. And I don't see. We have 1278. 113 I see here. $43.57 I see here. And 368.04 I see here. Okay. So we have basically copied and pasted all of the statements that we have on Expensify that are on the Excel spreadsheet. Now, a lot of times there's statements on Expensify that I don't see on here. That's okay. But one thing to look out for is that when you click on them, so when you click on them, that's when you have to, it's a little hard to explain. I hope I'm explaining this right. So once we're done copying and pasting all of these numbers onto the ones we see here, we then click on them So this is an Uber charge, right? 4505. And basically when we click on them, we're looking for that these things are not clicked. A lot of times the people who input these reports, they might accidentally check off these boxes, and we have to make sure that they're unchecked. The only reason that the reimbursable box will be checked is if it was charged to their personal card and not the card on the Excel spreadsheet. Because these are all the company card transactions on the spreadsheet. So the only reason we would reimburse them is if it was charged to their personal card. Okay, so, but most of the time, these boxes should be unchecked. So we would go through all of these. This is food. When we see food receipts, we have to make sure that there's no alcohol on the receipts, because if there are, we would have to put it on the Excel sheet over here where it says food. We would say alcohol, and we would put the amount that was charged for alcohol, let's say $5, and then we would highlight it red or orange or whatever. We would highlight it orange, and then we would basically, I would have to email the statement on Expensify to my account manager so she can overlook it, right? So I don't know how the bot is going to do that. Maybe you can explain that for me. That's one of the questions that I have. So we're going to go back and fix this. I'm just giving that as an example. So basically with all the food receipts, we have to look out for if they've had alcohol on the receipt. And again, I don't know if the bot is going to be able to look at these receipts like a human would. Okay. And also, let's see, I would like the bot to be able to categorize which receipt is which. So this is a food receipt. So the bot should be able to look at this receipt, right, and be like, okay, this is food, and notify me so that when I am on the spreadsheet, I can put in food. So I can discern what receipt is food. And this is important for when I use the journaling. That's a different task that I have to do. And I need to know what is what. So I know this is travel, Uber's travel, so on and so forth. Okay. So after I go through each, let me fix something. 1278 was printing. Okay, this was printing. So once I'm done going through all of the receipts and everything looks good, I would go ahead and approve it. So I'm just gonna approve, final approve. And that way it's here, and then I would highlight this whole thing blue. It's already highlighted in blue, but that's what I would do. The only reason I wouldn't approve something is if there are expenses on here that